we have been on just a roller coaster ride, I would say, over the last 3 or 4 years when it comes to real estate here in the Valley. Prices were down for a while, then they skyrocketed to crazy levels we hadn't seen. And now, 2023, we had high interest rates, which kind of put everything at a standstill.
Right. It almost feels impossible to achieve that American dream of owning a home. Is that what's going to happen in 2024?
This is a realtor, by the way, Carla Magee. Hi, Carla. Good to see you.
Good morning.
Yeah. So, I mean, you are actually very optimistic about 2024.
I am super optimistic about 2024. I think we're going to see a decrease in interest rates because we're going into an election year and nobody wants to be the candidate. That's the reason you can't have the American dream. So we're going to see some of those come down. We still have low inventory. So once we get a low interest rate, our inventory is going to stay where it is and the demand is going to skyrocket and we're going to just see another repeat.
When you say low interest rates, what are you talking?
Well, we're not talking 2.8% anymore, but we're not talking 7 either. My prediction is that we'll see around 5.5, maybe 6 for some lower credit scores or things like jumbo loans.
Yeah, and 6, you know, it's funny because we got so used to having them down around 3 or 4 or even less. That's a pretty healthy interest rate, you know, back in the day for sure. So here's the issue we have though when you talk about inventory. We are predicted to get 100,000 people to move into Maricopa County over the next year. Our housing is already fairly tight, and 85% of people, I read a stat this morning, right now, who have a mortgage below 5%. So for you to give up your 5% mortgage and try to upgrade to another house, really expensive, right? So people are just sitting on what they've got.
Right, and rightfully so. I mean, why would you sell a house and then go buy another house that's equivalent to what you have and you're paying a higher interest rate? So people are going to have to buy new builds, or we're going to try and see people moving out of the state, retiring, giving up their second home.
Or a lot of remodels, and that's what we're doing because the value just wasn't there to move to another home. But when you're walking around, driving around neighborhoods, you see a lot of the dumpsters. You see a lot of people saying, we're going to renovate, we're going to make improvements here. Right. Because it's not worth going
anywhere else. Because they're using that equity that they have in their house to just get a home equity line of credit through their lender and then doing it that way.
So looking at a place like Central Phoenix, Arcadia, Scottsdale that are already pretty built out, it's probably going to be pretty tough. Where are the areas of growth that you're seeing over the next year or so?
So the areas of growth right now are Apache Junction, just annexed 245 square miles into their kind of like Apache Junction, Queen Creek, Mesa triangle, building like 16,000 houses there. We also seeing the LG plant that won the award to go into Queen Creek, kind of in that same area. So we're going to see houses down there, Santan, Maricopa. We're going to see a lot of sprawl, I believe, in the East Valley and then also in the West Valley with their distribution, like going into like Buckeye and outer Goodyear, things like that.
We've heard it characterized as either a buyer's market or seller's market. Will that even exist anymore?
Well, so what we saw this year was actually a very even market, right? We would call it kind of a buyer's market because you could ask for more concessions and things like that. But going into next year, I think we will see a seller's market again, just because there won't be any inventory. Nobody's selling their house, so it's what can we give up to have someone come buy, you know, to have someone buy our home.
Well, thank you for joining us this morning. Appreciate it. How can people get a hold of you if they'd like to?
Instagram, Investment Real Estate AZ.
Great. Thank you for having me on.
Great info. Thank you.
Go Arizona real estate. I hope everybody has a place they can live.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right? It's hard. 100,000 people moving here.
Right.
There's no way we're building 50,000 houses.
Right.
No.
Right?
Nope.
Okay.
It's going to be interesting to see. We're also seeing a lot of apartment buildings, but that's a whole different topic.
You can talk about different type of real
You can talk
estate,
about this forever.
And they've gotten crazy expensive too.
Right.
Like a 2-bedroom apartment. All right, still to come this morning, investigators in New York are looking into a crash.